Welcome to this week's episode of Juice and Java.
We'll be covering all things politics with the election only 3 days away.
And Chris Venzon will be joining us to discuss the basketball team's upcoming season.
Stay with us.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. We have this week's juiciest stories here to share.
Let's head over to the squeeze. NewYorkUpstate.com has come up with the top 30 hardest colleges to get into. Coming in first place is Cornell University, which has a 14% acceptance rate and a 93% graduation rate. SU came in 25th, having a 53% acceptance rate and a graduation rate of 81%. SUNY ESF came in above SU at 23rd, having an acceptance rate of 51% with a graduation percent at 69. I am not surprised that Cornell is number one. I've heard many good things about that.
It's an Ivy League, so
Yes.
I think it'd be coming pretty high even if it just wasn't upstate New York.
Exactly, and it's just such a good school. They have so much to offer. I actually went there this year. It's a beautiful campus as well.
Really? I've never been there.
What do you think about SU being 25th?
I'm a little bit surprised. I don't necessarily think we deserve 25th. I think we should be up there higher.
I agree, and I think the different colleges too kind of have a different acceptance
Definitely.
rate.
If you were to do it by major, I'm sure that SU would be in a different spot.
I agree. And even the SUNY ESF colleges, there's so many in this upstate area.
I am so surprised that SUNY is harder to get into than SU.
Yeah, it's a little different, but college application time is coming up, and I know a few people have applied for early decision, and then the deadline is January 1st, so those high school seniors must be really stressing right now.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to sway anybody's decision on where they're applying.
And I mean, upstate New York is beautiful, so I totally understand why they'd want to come here.
Definitely. And in other news, SU student Matt Gehring finally achieved his long life goal of being Twitter famous. Last Saturday night, Gehring tweeted a photo of him dressed as conservative political commentator Tomi Lahren. The tweet gained thousands of retweets within the first hour. Gehring said he decided to dress up as Tomi after seeing her comments about the final debate and wanted to be, quote, something scary for Halloween. Tomi didn't directly respond, but did tweet shortly after, quote, imitation is the highest form of flattery, with the hashtag Team Tomi.
This is just a crazy story. I've watched some of her videos, and she is very aggressive with her politics.
She is very aggressive, definitely. We're actually going to have him on the show later, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say about
this. And just his publicity and how much retweets he's gotten, and even his Twitter feed. How does he deal with the publicity?
Definitely. I want to see a picture of what he looked like. A man dressed up like this. It's very interesting.
I know, and he has a red dress on. He looks very much like her when she did her show. So
wow.
I think it's fun and just it kind of shows how big of a media storm this really was this season.
Definitely. The social media is such a big thing in the politics right now, so I think it's so funny. There's been a lot of funny things going on, so it's good.
Yep. And in other news, Starbucks revealed a new themed cup called the Unity Cup last Tuesday, but wasn't immune to criticism on social media. The cup was meant to symbolize unity ahead of the election, but not everyone feels this way. Many Twitter users are accusing Starbucks of, quote, political brainwashing and being too liberal. Starbucks released a statement saying these cups remind us that we need to be good to each other, but don't specifically say if these cups are the holiday cups. The holiday cups will be out November 10th, and they will be the classic red cup. This is the first time the company has received criticism for their themed cups. Have you seen the cup?
I have seen the cup. I think it's really incredible. I actually watched a video on the artists who made the cup, and it's really cool. They kind of take one pen and they don't lift the pen up at once, at all. Once. Yeah, so it's all drawn in one line. It's pretty incredible.
And I just think it's so unique too for a big brand name company trying to get into what the politics are this year and trying to unite people, and I think that's a great message.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't have a specific, this is for Hillary, this is for Trump, it's pretty much uniting people, and I think that is a great message.
Yeah, I actually thought that this was the holiday cup until I recently learned that it wasn't. It's green. It kind of looks like it.
Many people were confused, but nope, the holiday cups will be November 10th.
Yeah. And if you are an avid Facebook user, you may have seen many of your friends checking into Standing Rock, North Dakota. However, most of these people aren't actually anywhere near that state. The real reason for checking into that location is to show support for the demonstrators who have been opposing the controversial $3.7 billion pipeline. A post on Facebook gave an explanation saying the huge number of check-ins helped prevent local law enforcement from knowing who was actually protesting and who was just supporting.
This is kind of interesting. I never even thought of Facebook to be used as where the location is to help protest.
Definitely.
And I think it is kind of important that these protesters are protesting because it's in North Dakota, very Native American based in the sacred land. So they're fighting for what they believe in.
It's definitely an issue. And a lot of celebrities have been checking in there, but actually in person going there. I know. Right. Yeah, definitely. A lot of celebrities have been there. So it's really interesting. I'm glad that this is getting so much media coverage right now. It's a good break from all the politics that we're hearing about.
And you really see people fighting for what they believe in and their religion and things like that. And I think it is really great.
Definitely.
And in the home stretch of this election, the race has been tightening over the last 2 weeks with some states shifting. Maine, Ohio, and Utah have all changed from being battleground states to leaning Republican, while New Hampshire switched from leaning Democrat to a battleground state. All of these shifts are in Donald Trump's direction with an electoral vote of 204. Clinton still remains in a stronger position with 268 electoral votes. Being from Massachusetts, I kind of get the wave of New Hampshire ads. So this time of year, they are just bombarding everything and everyone. And it's kind of interesting to see how states are shifting.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really remember the last election, but it seems like states are really shifting a lot more than usual right now. I mean, I'm from California, so I don't really get a lot of the shifting, but...
Yep, being from Massachusetts too. It's blue most of the time, but it's funny seeing those New Hampshire ads because they're all the time, everywhere, because it is a battleground state. And now especially, and I think it's just with the controversy of this whole election and with the candidates, people are really trying to be like, okay, who am I going to vote for this year?
It's definitely been an interesting year for politics, so we'll see where that goes. And many Republican leaders, including Donald Trump and his followers, are saying that if Hillary Clinton is elected, she could be impeached shortly after inauguration. However, if this were to happen, Tim Kaine could be president, which would help his chances of being elected in 2020, possibly also making it harder for Republicans in the future. Kaine also pointed out that Republicans who are suggesting this idea have already accepted that Trump will lose the race.
I just think we're a democracy. The people vote, and if the people vote for one candidate, that's what it is. And I think it's very disturbing to hear that these are what the candidates are thinking of doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we just talked about it, all the states are switching a lot right now, so we really have no idea who's going to be president at this point.
Right. And people just need to vote, and if it's the majority, hopefully there's a high voting average this year. People go out, they really voice their opinion. I think that'll help so much for this election.
Yeah, there's a lot of voting opportunities even on the SU campus, so that's good. I know at Bird Library there's going to be voting booths, so that's good.
I've heard so many things on Twitter, on Instagram, even just posters everywhere on campus saying, please get out and vote. I know there's so many ballots too for people that need their absentee ballots or even to register in New York, which I think is great. We're the millennials. This is our first time voting, so I think it's really important.
Yeah, definitely.
And then after the break, we'll tell you everything you need to know for the upcoming Syracuse basketball season.
And the brave SU student that went viral for his Halloween costume will be joining us here.
Stay with us.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Don't think you know you know.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Got a quarter?
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
With the election right around the corner, we have Jamie with us to tell us what events Syracuse will be having to celebrate the historical night.
With the presidential election just 4 days away, Syracuse is overflowing with political events, many of which you might even find tasty. Venues in the downtown area will be hosting events geared toward getting locals and students involved in the election while satisfying their taste buds. Tuesday, November 8th will be one of the yummiest nights before the election, as there are a ton of food-related events taking place off campus. St. Augustine's Church, located on 7333 O'Brien Road, will kickstart Tuesday by hosting an Election Day fundraiser that will begin at 9 a.m. The event will open up with a bake sale and have lunch at from 11 to 12 o'clock p.m. On the menu will be chili, Italian wedding soup, ham salad, tuna sandwiches, and cold beverages. Prices will vary, and the takeout will also be available. The Manoa Free Library, located on 242 North Main Street, will be also starting the day with an Election Day bake sale at 10 o'clock a.m. They will be serving some fall favorites from apple and pumpkin pie to apple crisp pie, crumb cake, and butter pecan pound cake. Prices will vary. The venue is also asking for donations of baked goods. For those of you who may be interested in this, please be sure to either call the library or sign up at the front desk. Last but not least, the Liverpool First United Methodist Church, located on 604 Oswego Street, Liverpool, will be hosting an Election Day pasta dinner from 4:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. All admissions will require a free will donation. The church is also requiring that you stop by only before or after voting. For those of you interested in volunteering, the church asks that you contact them to sign up to assist with kitchen duties, setting up, and serving. Be sure to head out and vote if you have not already, because that's all we've got to pour in your cup here in Juice and Java.
Now Chris Venzon joins us to talk about the upcoming Syracuse basketball season. Chris, the team is looking great this year, right?
Well, on paper, this team looks better than it even did last year. And you remember, they went to the Final Four, which was incredibly surprising and a very impressive feat at that. And this year, on paper, with the additions that Syracuse has added, they look even better. There's a few transfers that have come in, a few freshmen, notably Tyus Battle, John Gillen. Both of those guys are guards who could start for us, and they've been playing very well in the exhibition games. I really like how this team is looking so far, and it's just preseason right now.
Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah. And who do you think is going to be the best scorer this year?
Oh, Tyler Lydon is a really good bet to lead the team in scoring. He's a freshman that averaged 30 minutes last season, and this season he's coming in. He's got a great offensive game as kind of a stretch four. That means that he can shoot the ball from the outside, and he's really tall and can play inside. So he's a good bet. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting my money on Tyler Lydon.
And how do you think the seniors are going to do with Tyler Roberson and Dejon Coleman? Do you think they're really going to step up this year for the team?
Well, the leadership is something from those two guys that is going to be really important to help lead those young freshmen and new guys along that have transferred in. I really expect Tyler Roberson to have a big year just from that perspective in general.
And what is Syracuse going to play for defense? I know Boeheim has alluded to maybe playing man this year. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that's kind of a dream for all of us. In general, this team is really good when they are very tall, and we have some really good tall players that can help out in the zone defense. For example, Paschal Chukwu and Frank Howard and Andrew White. 6'4", 6'4", 7'2". That makes it really hard to score, especially when you're trying to get the ball into the post and get some easy shots to the bucket. When you're 7 feet 2 inches tall, you can really alter shots. So that is looking like a really strong lineup on the defensive side of the ball.
And what are the big games this season that you're most excited for?
Everybody should be very excited for Duke. Georgetown, we're hosting both of those games. Georgetown is over the break, but Duke should be rocking if people can get back early enough in January.
I remember freshman year, it was a record crowd.
Exactly.
Very exciting. And what do you expect from Jim Boeheim this year? I know he's 39 years coaching. What do you expect from him?
Well, he's been the best, and what's really we've noticed over the years, especially just in the last 15 or 20, is that Jim Boeheim used to be really poor late in games, but now he's actually become a master of those situations when things are going crazy and timeouts need to be managed. He is one of the best in the country at working with those kind of instances.
And today, Syracuse football plays our orange rival, Clemson. How do you think they're going to do today?
Well, it's going to be a lot of orange, but Clemson, I've heard and am told, is doing a purple out there. There's going to be a lot of purple today in the game, but it's going to be a very interesting game. Syracuse has played very well the last 2 weeks, and they've been able to succeed against teams that they haven't been able to beat, but Clemson is the one of the best teams in the country, number 2, number 3 in the country. They have a Heisman contender for quarterback. Mike Williams, though, is the wide receiver that I would watch out. He's size, speed, really good at wide receiver.
Well, last time Syracuse played a ranked team, they won, so we'll see what happens
hopefully
today. And when we come back, Matt Gehrig is in studio to talk about what a crazy week he's had in the spotlight. We'll be right back.
Found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow.
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. I have SU junior Matt Gehrig here with me to talk about his viral Halloween costume. Matt, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
So, what were you for Halloween?
I was the ultra-conservative host, Tomi Lahren. You've probably seen her viral videos on Facebook. She's pretty crazy.
So, how did you come up with this idea?
I've seen her videos for a really long time. People share her videos all the time on Facebook. I'd say like 50% are like, yes, Tomi, she speaks for me. And then the other half is like, okay, this girl is absolutely crazy. Most of my Facebook feed was the crazy part. And I just saw the reactions she would get, and I was like, this is the perfect Halloween costume. Maybe make fun of her a little bit. I think it would be perfect. So I thought of it over the summer, and then...
Wow, you were ahead of time.
I was. I planned it way ahead of time, and then in the few weeks before I bought everything, my roommates helped me a lot, and I put it together.
So what's your family and friends' reaction to this going viral?
My friends' reactions were really funny. They were like, oh my God, Matt, he's always wanted to go viral. This is like his Twitter dream. My dad was the same way. My dad has a Twitter, so he was literally texting me the amount of retweets I had the entire time. He texted me at one point, you have more retweets than Ken Bone. And I was like, oh my God, Dad, all right, chill. My mom, on the other hand, though, she was actually kind of worried. She saw the reactions I was getting from people I didn't know, and she just wanted me to be safe, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how many retweets did you get?
It has over 54,000 retweets right now.
And have people been reaching out to you about this?
Yeah, I've had like over 50 direct messages, overwhelmingly positive, people saying like, thank you so much for doing this. Like, this was brilliant, and a lot of you won Halloween. So that was a good
Definitely
feeling.
good. So I know you said you wanted to go viral. Have you ever tried something before to make you go viral before?
I don't think I ever had a plan as much as I had a plan this time.
Okay.
I mean, I've tweeted things before that I thought were funny. I've definitely gotten like a few things here and there, especially during debates. I tweet a lot about politics, but this was like the one thing that I knew had a chance, and it succeeded.
Yeah, definitely. So did Tomi reach out to you?
Tomi has not reached out to me. She did give me a bit of a subtweet. She said imitation is the highest form of flattery, and that was enough. I wanted her to be aware of it, and
yes,
she
I'm
obviously
sure she was aware of it, definitely. So what was your end goal with this?
I don't know if I had an end goal. I just thought it would be something funny to do. Obviously, like, social media is a big passion of mine. I'd love to work in social media in the future, so maybe a bit of a resume builder.
Definitely a resume builder. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking about it. I personally love it. I thought that was a great costume.
Thank you so much for having me.
And with all the talk of the upcoming election, Dan Prager joins us for his final thoughts on the candidates. We'll be right back after this short break.
You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Juice and Java.
Dan Prager is with us to talk about all things this election. So Dan, how do you think the election is going to go this year on Election Day night?
Well, that's a really hard question, actually, because nobody really knows. Every other week we're thinking, like a week and a half ago, people were wondering, oh, is Clinton going to turn Texas blue, which is something crazy that like never happens. Now we're wondering, can she win it all? So it's hard to say. The election still looks like it's in Clinton's favor. She has the numbers. She has over 270 electoral votes, which you need to win. So she has that right now, and a lot of the swing states are kind of leaning toward her, but anything could happen, so nobody really knows.
And do you think it's going to be a, oh my gosh moment when one state goes blue or one state goes red, or do you think it's pretty much every state that's, the polls are showing either red or blue, do you think they're going to go red or blue?
I think it depends on how really the election goes. There could be this oh my god moment if, let's say, we go into like hour for the election, it's like 11 o'clock, and you see Colorado turn red. That's the oh my god, Trump might win this election moment if he's already doing well. So you could see that happen, or you could see maybe if it's late in the night and Florida still isn't called, that. But at the same time, there always is the option of, oh, nobody's surprised. It just happened the way we thought it would.
Yeah, so what are the newest updates that have been happening that have been kind of changing which way the states are going?
Well, actually, last night there was a thing on Nerd Twitter, which is what I call it for all the political junkies out there, where somebody in Nevada was tweeting out, it was a picture of a Hispanic grocery store where people were going out to vote, and the line, they had to extend the polling by about 3 hours, I think, because all of these Hispanic people were turning out to vote, which not everybody expected, but it was really, they were saying, this is the end for Trump in Nevada. So Nevada's looking pretty blue right now, which if you look at one of the polling aggregators or something like that, if you see a poll, it's leaning more red, but the way turnout's going, it's probably going to be blue, and that's the newest update, and that could be really bad for Trump.
Wow, yeah.
And how do you think being in the media, this election, the media has been such a big player in it, how have you felt being in this election and part of the media?
It's kind of tough because you never really know what's going to happen. It's a little stressful because 1 week I'm preparing, like I had a segment on Talking Points, which is Citrus's election or politics show, and I had a segment about, oh, what are the states going to look like last week? And I was talking about, oh, Clinton's probably going to win Arizona and win all these states. And then I have to go back, do all this research again, because now it's really close. But also there's a discussion between like political correspondents with each other where it's like, do you fact check a candidate? Because that's a big thing. Usually people just don't want to stay partisan. The media is very out of that realm. So they say, all right, we're not going to fact check. We're not going to say, oh, this policy is too liberal, too conservative. But now you have a candidate like Donald Trump where a lot of his policies don't really add up on either side of the aisle. And do you fact check him? Do you go with that? And a lot of people are saying yes, a lot of people are saying no, and either way you could see a bias there.
Definitely. So I know we're talking about fact checking. That's definitely been a huge topic right now. But how else has this election been different than maybe some in the past?
You're seeing a bigger divide this election, whereas before it was conservatives versus liberals. Now it's more rural versus urban.
Interesting.
In the cities and in the suburbs, you're seeing a lot of whiter voters turn more toward the Democratic Party, more toward Clinton. And a lot of more rural areas, you're seeing white, less college educated, and blue-collar voters going toward Trump. So you're seeing this new divide where pretty much the GOP's kind of given up on minorities and given up on kind of urban areas. And they're hoping that since there's more areas with rural but higher population in urban, they can take all that rural area and really go for it, which is something really new.
And
So-
sorry.
So, very quickly, how can we check this out? On Election Day, what are we going to be watching?
CitrusTV is going to be having an election special. It starts at 8:30, I believe, hosted by the great Alex Amico, Josh Carney, and Tricky Tricarico. And
Great.
I'll be there. I'll be on it. So check it out. It'll be a
Perfect.
lot of
Thank you
fun.
so much.
Awesome. And Juice and Java will be turning after this.
Stay with us.
You can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Elliot Chaconne, a candidate running for a Maine State House seat, recently moved to Arizona without telling election officials. However, his name still remains on the ballot because he didn't notify anyone that he was dropping out of the race.
And Chaconne did not campaign, and his finance report shows he didn't raise or spend any money in the race. His opponent, Democrat Roger Fuller, says he is worried voters may not be aware Chaconne isn't running. This is just strange.
What a funny story. You know, we'll see if he ends up getting elected.
And this just shows how crazy this election has been.
Well, that's all for this week's episode of Juice and Java. I'm Monique Iuster.
And I'm Rebecca Thornburg. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Yay!